Parenting vs. Podcast is a proud member of the Breweries Podcasters Guild.
Good morning. Welcome to the Parenting vs. Podcast. So we are...
It's a wet one. It's a rainy day.
Yeah, it is. We're relaxing in our office, which is kind of nice to say. We have an office. But it's been rainy for a couple days. Kind of soggy.
I mean, we live in the Pacific Northwest now, so it's to be expected. Huh?
I'm uncomfortable.
I can scoot over here.
We're just lounging.
Yeah, it's Sunday. It's a lazy Sunday morning. It feels good, actually.
Yeah.
Woke up and took a nice warm bath, just because. And it felt so good to just, roll out of bed and then just get nice and cozy in the tub and just be like, yeah, that's the...
Yeah, boy.
Stuff. I mean, it wasn't like that, but yeah, okay. You can use your imagination. If that's what you want it to be like, you go right ahead.
I don't know if you want to... Never mind.
No.
All right.
Okay.
Moving forward. Yeah, so we're just relaxing, taking in the morning, drinking coffee. Coffee's good.
It is good. What kind did you make?
I'm saying coffee in general is good.
No, I know. Well, duh.
This is
stupid.
Not high quality coffee. Well, maybe it's that 3-pound bag of coffee that you bought from
Winco.
Or was it By Mart?
No, it was Winco. They had these giant ass bags of coffee, and I was like, good enough for me. I'm trying really hard. I love good coffee, and up here there's no shortage, and I'm trying really hard not to go too insane on the purchasing gourmet pounds of coffee everywhere I go, because it's super easy to do. So yeah. And also I know that I'm gonna compulsively go out and try different coffee shops all the time. So I'm I can scrimp on the coffee at home. I
think it should be the other way around.
No. Listen, quality. I'm saying, maybe if you're giving me permission to go buy amazing coffee, I will do that. I will happily do that. I will find it.
I mean, I don't know if it's in my realm to give you permission to do anything.
I mean, that's true. I don't need your permission. However, this is a cooperative partnership, so I do want to satisfy that.
My philosophy...
This is a business arrangement.
My philosophy, as far as coffee is concerned, is let's buy the good quality beans and reduce the amount of coffee shop visits.
But see, that's not going to happen. I'm an ENFP type 4. Do you know what that means?
That means you're a spending mama.
Oh my gosh. No. We value aesthetic a lot. So it's not just about the coffee being good. There's that whole feeling and environment and aesthetic that goes along with getting the coffee at a coffee shop. I'm not just paying for the cup of coffee. I'm paying for the feeling and the environment, the music that's playing. It's the quaint neighborhood that the shop is in, the fuzzy warm feelings.
It's if the space could give you a warm hug.
Yeah, I'm paying for that hug.
So
I want it.
I scored high on the 4 as well. In fact,
I think for you it's that way with beer. Going to a brewery, I think maybe is your aesthetic pleasing experience.
I feel like if I'm at a brewery, minus kids, by the way, we've tried brewery with kids, and
it's the worst.
It is awful, because not only do you feel bad that you're taking your kids to a bar, because that's what a brewery is. It's a bar.
I don't feel bad about it. I mean, I'm glad you have some convictions there.
I feel awful because I'm sipping on beer while my kids are running around. Although
they can let us have that one thing.
This is before COVID, by the way. I mean, I would not even think about bringing my kids to a brewery. Much less.
We're hey kids, we're going to go drink beer and sit outside. You don't get
wear your mask. This is going to be fun for everybody.
Yeah, and they're just what in the hell?
It's going to be. That's taking a kid to a brewery is like the worst, like, imaginable thing.
I
Because
think you're kind of being judgy, though.
no. For me, like,
Some people don't have the option.
But hang on,
Okay.
it's awful.
Hang on, it's awful.
We have 3 children. I'm going to go to a brewery to relax and to sip on a beer and to have good discussion with somebody, whether it be my spouse or friends or maybe a stranger. I mean, that's
Excuse
not
me?
yes,
Your lovely spouse?
my lovely spouse.
That's what I thought.
But
Someone's crying.
if I don't care.
Okay.
But if I'm a good parent. I don't care.
Wow.
I seriously don't care.
Okay. Sorry about that.
They're fine. They'll figure it out. We're learning life skills right now.
The last time we told them to figure it out, stuff ended up broken. Someone was crying in the corner.
Nobody was bleeding, though. It's fine.
Not yet.
No, so if I'm going to a brewery and I'm bringing kids, I'm going to do these relaxing things, adult things, and I don't want to have to think about keeping children alive. Okay, that's number one. Number two. The kids are probably bored to tears because there's nothing for them to do. They're going to run around, and then if I let them be children and run around too much,
You're the asshole.
Then they start to bother the other patrons who are there not to worry about kids. And so
But there's other people that bring their kids too.
I don't, but that's bad. Don't do that.
What if they don't have a choice? Like, okay, hold on.
Drink at home. Hang on. No, like
No,
it's a bad time for the parents, it's a bad time for the kids, and it's a bad time for the patrons, and it's a bad time for the staff because there's probably messes.
Hold on. Oh, somebody's crying for daddy.
Just continue thought. It's okay. Okay, fine. Somebody's crying.
It's bad.
All right.
Parenting pause number 1.
Pause. We will come back, and Lindsay's
Shit.
Lindsay's going to
God.
defend her point.
We're gonna take a pause. What's wrong?
Okay, we're back.
We're back. So, what I was gonna say before we were interrupted by crying children. Shocker, I know. Were you expecting that to not happen on this podcast? Surprise, it's gonna happen probably like 8 more times.
And you liked it.
You liked it. You can relate. It's relatable, isn't it? No, so I think, and I'm gonna cite an article here because I was looking at that. Yeah,
you researched.
Yes, I took it to the lab quickly. I mini researched it. I think that people go to breweries, especially people our age, with their kids because it is an accessible way for them to socialize and not go insane. I can relate to that. I used to be of the school of thought, kind of like you, like, oh, we shouldn't bring kids to breweries. Don't bring your baby to a brewery. Don't do that. It's, whatever. But the thing is, being a parent, like we talk about so many times on this podcast, is really isolating. And so sometimes you need to get out and you need to go do something around other adults in an adult environment. And I guess maybe as a mom, I can kind of, what I mean by that is like, you want to be in a place where it's predominantly grown-ups doing grown-up things. Because there's only so many mommy groups, trips to the zoo, trips to the library, walks in the park, walking around the mall just because you need to get out of the house and you're going insane with your child that you can take. And even those things are not really like happy places. Those are just sort of like things you're doing to accommodate your need on a very minimal level while still appeasing your kid. So, yeah, I get that there's probably an age where maybe you shouldn't be taking your kids to breweries or restaurants just because they're little shits and they're like 2 and they're going to destroy everything. Come on, we've all read the book Toddlers Are Assholes. It's a great book. We all know they are.
I've not read that book.
We own it.
Also, I'm trying to clean up my language, so I'm not gonna.
Well,
I'm gonna.
I didn't write the book. It's called Toddlers Are Assholes, and it's not wrong. There's probably an age where maybe you should, like, for your own sanity, just stay home. But I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing your kids to a brewery. I mean,
whatever works for you. I'm just saying, for me, I'm gonna go insane at a brewery, making sure my kids are relaxing, and it's counterproductive, like, to the max for me.
Okay, but don't shame other parents that are doing
No,
it.
I'm not.
Because they may not have someone to watch their kids. That might be like their only lifeline to adult interaction.
No, I would never shame anybody else. I would never shame anybody else. Like, if that works for you, cool. Like, and if I'm a patron there by myself and I'm an adult and there are kids crying or playing or causing a ruckus, I'm going to chuckle, and it's not going to bother me. I'm going to be happy that it's not my children, but I'm not like I'm not the type of person to get angry or pissed off if there's a baby or kids or like kids and babies. It takes a lot. Like, there has to be some real like parent neglect for me to start to get upset.
There's an article on Vox.com. And it says, the rise of babies in bars explained. The rise of craft brewing and tap rooms has made family-friendly drinking establishments more common. It was written in August of 2019. It's a good article. Check it out. We can link it in the show notes. You can read it.
Send it to me. I'll link it.
But the thing is, too, I feel like there's a difference between... It's twofold. There's a difference between going to a brewery versus going to a bar. And I think if you're a patron of a brewery, you should probably understand that, yeah, there might be kids there. Because there is also food. It is also a different type of drinking establishment other than a bar. It's
somehow become socially acceptable to bring your kid to that kind of bar, but not like the neighborhood seedy little dive bar.
That's exactly what this article talks about. But the thing is, are you going to bring your kids to, like, a nightclub or, like, a bar where it's, like, there's not really beer? It's, like, you know, you're not. And so if that's what you're looking for and that's the experience that you're looking for, go have that. There won't be kids there. But I don't think you should necessarily get mad at people for bringing kids to breweries. I think that some parents are just trying to do the best they can.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. And I don't know if I came off as like, you're a bad parent if you do that. No, but if you're looking for sanity, I don't think it's the best way to get some sanity if you have kids.
I think it depends on the establishment. There's some breweries that, like, well, not during COVID, but, like, that have outdoor areas where your kids can, like, run around and play and you can have a beer. It's kind of like, even like wineries. Like,
maybe. There was that place in Santa Fe, Cowgirl, that had, like, a playground in the back. Mm-hmm. But even with that, I don't know, maybe I'm just revealing a little bit about my inner workings, and I think you're pretty familiar with that, and sometimes it really bothers you because you don't understand, like, how...
You're sort of legalistic about some things.
Maybe, but I didn't have a good time at Cowgirl because, again, I want to sit and I want to talk to you, and
Cowgirl's a restaurant though, and it's a tourist restaurant.
Right. I mean, okay, I don't want to talk bad about businesses, but
you can. It's a podcast. You can do whatever you want.
This isn't a bash on Cowgirl itself, but going to to Cowgirl, yeah.
Can I just say something really fast? Mm-hmm. Cowgirl is a restaurant in Santa Fe. It's known for its barbecue. It's good food. It's definitely tourist-based in pricing and appeal.
And they have tap beers, though.
They do. They have a good local selection. It's a good default if you're, like, not really sure where you want to go. It's a good, solid Santa Fe establishment. Mm. Usually it's full of tourists.
Ooh, I smell a podcast episode. We could do, like, a tour guide of Santa Fe. Like, if people are talking about... Anyways, yeah, so it's a fine place, but...
It's a fine place.
It's a fine establishment.
But the thing is, too, they won't split your check, and they get really mad at you if you ask that. So don't go in there and ask.
But they also have to deal with Oklahomans and Texans probably being overly privileged, just like on our last episode. They've probably dealt with a few Texan Karens.
Oh, that's the worst kind of Karen.
So I don't blame them. Like, don't split the check. You guys have cash. Like, figure it out.
Speaking of which, we're going to go down a rabbit hole for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Do you remember that thing you read about that person that visited Santa Fe during COVID, and they were like complaining, and we were like, dude, you're coming from Texas, like COVID riddled Texas, to Santa Fe, and you're complaining about how Santa Fe was not cool with it. Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, I gotta find it. I'll link it if I find it, but there was a Texan who wrote a letter to the editor of some local paper in Texas about how they had a horrible time in Santa Fe because everybody was wearing masks and nobody wanted to, like, shake hands or like have close conversations, and they were scolded for not wearing their mask inside buildings and, like, just regular standard COVID protocol, and they were pissed off about it, and they're never coming to Santa Fe again.
Good, don't. In fact, stay the fuck out. Sorry. Oh wow. I just got really heated and that just, like, slipped out. But for real, like, you know what? If you're going to be that person, don't come to Santa Fe. We don't want you. They don't want you. Nobody wants you there. No, you don't go to a place and like when they nicely ask you to respect their rules because it's a pandemic and you decide to go on a vacation, you moron.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get mad because they ask you to respect rules for the good of everybody else. Like, you're in their home.
Yeah. So back to what we were talking about.
Sorry, I just got really mad.
No, I mean,
You stay out.
my reaction was like, you're ridiculous, and your reaction is anger. So that's fine.
My reaction's like, let's throw hands.
Yeah. So, yeah, throw hands.
That's like so New Mexican, though. It's like, I can bag on New Mexico, but if you do it, oh, you're in trouble.
Catch me outside. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah, so Cowgirl is a fine place, like, but they had a little play structure in the back, like, area.
It's like a courtyard. The restaurant's built around it.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like a good idea. Like, as a parent, you can eat your food and drink your beer, and your kids are okay. But still, like, as a parent, like, I wanted to be back there, and I wanted to make sure my kids weren't like hurting themselves and like
eating nails
or something. I don't know. So I didn't get to enjoy my beer. I didn't get to have a conversation with my wife. I didn't get to like really relax. So, and on top of that, for a family of 5, eating out with a family of 5, it's a nightmare for me because I'm gonna get, if I'm lucky, I'll get 2 beers. I'll have a plate. Lindsay will have a plate. Each kid will have a kid's plate, which is probably like $8 each, and they're not gonna eat any of it. And I'm gonna end up leaving there with like $100 check, and on top of that, I didn't get to relax or enjoy my meal or my beer. Like, it's not a fun time.
Okay, so if you're in the Portland metro area and you're looking for someone to babysit for, you can hit us up. Because we'd be happy to let our kids be babysat by you as long as you're not a serial killer.
Yeah.
Or a rapist or a crazy person. We need a babysitter. Help us.
Yeah. And I was actually talking to those guys that we met from the church, the Portland church.
St. John's.
Yeah.
PDX. Nice guys.
Yeah.
Really cool
Great
stuff
dudes.
they're doing. I'm excited.
And I think I was talking to them, or maybe I was talking to...
you don't know who you were talking to.
I was talking to somebody. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
And I don't talk to that many people these days.
Well, we don't know anyone here, so like...
We were...
Who was it?
Yeah. I had a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about, like, in COVID times, how crazy it is as a parent, because not only is it... I mean, and we've moved.
Yeah.
Is that we want to get away, we want to, like, have some time to each other, and I know that both of us are on the edge. We need that time. But it's like doubly compounded on us right now because, number one, we've moved, and number two, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah. So you can't just get a babysitter, even if you have the means to, like, pay for a babysitter. You can't just get a babysitter because, like...
I mean, you might be able to if you know somebody that's, like, being responsible, but for us, it's like... It would come off as really sketchy. Hey, we just moved here from out of state. Please come watch our kids, and you don't know anything about us, and you might get COVID because you don't know.
Well, there's that. Like, I don't know you. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you have COVID, and I don't know if you're going to hurt my kid in some other way.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because we don't have that sense of community yet. We did, thankfully, though. I did want to say, my aunt has a beach house here in Rockaway Beach in Oregon, and she was gracious enough to let us borrow it. We could have stayed longer. We stayed one night just because I wanted to test the waters and see how our kids did. I didn't want to be stuck staying somewhere that was miserable for like a long period. So I was like, okay, we'll do one night. We'll see how it goes. And then if we can do okay, we'll come back and at some point,
I really liked Rockaway. I thought that was a really, really cool town.
Yeah, it's not a place growing up here that I've spent a lot of time, but it is definitely a quintessential beach town. It is not touristy at all, which I love. I could see, like, how in the summer it would be amazing and walkable. Everything is super walkable. Just a cute little beach town, not overrun by tourism. Like, Seaside here is where you go if you're a tourist, or where you take your friends and family who have never been to the Oregon coast because it's like the quickest beach location away from Portland. Like, it's just the fastest one to get to.
Right.
So if you're going to day trip it with somebody who's never been to the coast, like, that's where you go. And I get that. But yeah, I don't know. We had a really good time, even though it was like pouring down rain. Like there was a wood stove. We were able to get away from our, day to day for a night and just enjoy something different with the kids. And also like we took our kids on the beach. There was a little break in the weather. And so they got to run around on the beach and we got to just like walk for a minute and have some mental peace.
Yeah, and that is my alternative to going to a brewery and spending like all of your paycheck on food that you're not going to enjoy. My alternative is to go to a place where I can let my kids run. I can let my kids be kids. They're going to have a good time. And I can throw in my headphones, which I have AirPods Pro, which they have this
Humble
feature.
Bragger.
I'm going to humble brag. That was the one. That's my best.
I have $1 million. That's no big deal.
That was my favorite purchase of 2019. Anyways, yeah, so it has like a transparency mode, so I can hear my podcast or my music, and I also hear what's going on around me, so I can hear my kids if they're screaming bloody murder. So I'll throw in those, I'll listen to a podcast, I'll watch them, I will be present, but I can also get some me time. And in contrast, at a brewery, no, that's not happening. So, but that was fun, like running around, letting them be kids, letting them explore, like they are, like, and not only that, but like at Rockaway, I didn't grow up next to an ocean, so I saw like a beached jellyfish. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. Me and my kids are both in wonder. Like,
as I'm like, don't touch it.
We're both in wonder at the beach at Rockaway. I have never seen the ocean that churny.
Well,
is that a thing?
I mean, sure. No, it's right now, the Oregon coast is going through what's called king tides. And it's one of those things I forgot about. Like, I knew about it as a kid and growing up here, but I forgot about it just because if you're not around it, you don't think about it. You live in the middle of Albuquerque in the desert, like, you don't think about king tide season. But yeah, the tides get really, really, huge and really big and really rough. And, they're bigger than normal.
Yeah, the waves were out of control. It sounds weird, but you could feel the power, like, coming from the ocean. I guess it doesn't sound weird because sound waves, you can feel sound waves. And the ocean was loud. I did take a little bit of audio from the first time. I wish I would have brought my mic and taken some audio the second time. I just didn't have it. Yeah. But the ocean was loud and it was powerful, and there was sea foam everywhere.
It was a lot of sea foam, probably just from the magnitude of the waves, I would assume. But
and I didn't hate my time on the Oregon coast in the winter because of the rain. Like, the rain, I enjoyed the rain. Like, it was a pretty steady drip for the whole. I mean, rain for the whole time, except for
misting.
It was like a misting. The night we got there, we took a walk to the beach, and we did get pretty soaked that first night because it was raining pretty good. But the next morning, it was a little bit cloudy, and then we even saw some blue sky, and I don't know, it was just a good time.
The funny thing about the Oregon coast is, like, in the winter, there's that, it's again that aesthetic, that cozy aesthetic feeling, I think, which makes coffee shops so popular here too. But, like, you go out, you get super wet and drenched, and then you come in, there's a wood stove, you have your blanket and your warm drink and your wood stove going, and you're drying off. It's just this feeling of, like, I don't even know how to say it because I'm going to butcher it, but, like, it's like that Finnish word, hygge, Hygge.
Did you read that at IKEA?
No, it's a feeling. It's like this. It's like based on this feeling. It's like based on a coziness feeling. And I don't know how to say it. So, but it's interesting that you mentioned the coast because, like, sorry, you were talking about, like, energy and feelings coming off the waves. What is so funny?
Nothing.
What?
I was gonna say you need to hock a loogie.
No, I'm not. I'm not like you.
I wonder if that's. Never mind. I was gonna say I wonder if that's a New Mexican term, but
it's not.
Okay, go ahead.
Gross though. Now I'm just grossed out.
I've heard gorgie too.
What?
We used to say in Santa Fe gorgie.
That's strictly Santa Fe.
You gotta hock a gorgie.
That doesn't even... Oh, that sounds so gross. Huh. That sounds so gross. I don't like it.
So the Swedish term for coziness is...
It's gone.
Should I ask Google?
No, I'll just look it up.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's Hygge, and I don't know how to say it. I'm probably not going to say it the right way, but it's like this whole feeling... And it's... Okay. I don't know how to do the
There's
Oxford.
a little mic right there.
Hygge.
Oh.
Hygge.
That's not what I thought it was.
Also send that article to me so I can link it.
Hygge.
Hygge.
Okay, well, there it is. A quality of coziness and comfortable conviviality that engenders a feeling of contentment or well-being, regarded as a defining characteristic of Danish culture. So, like, there's whole, like...
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's like acknowledging, it's a Danish word acknowledging a feeling or moment, whether alone or with friends, at home or out, ordinary or extraordinary, as cozy, charming, or special.
That's interesting. Like, in the English language, there are not a lot of words for the different complex feelings that we can experience, but that word describes a feeling. Can you link that? Maybe that, and then also the last article.
Okay, yeah.
Like, send it to me.
I sent it to you.
But in the English language, there are not a lot of words for the complex amount of feelings that we have. Like, I'm thinking about, what's that movie, the Pixar movie? Inside Out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just happiness, sadness, anger, what are the other ones? I don't know.
All the feelings.
All the feelings.
All of them.
And...
I'm like, it's funny because you say feelings and I'm thinking of the colors. I'm like, green? No, that's not a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's like different shades of joy and different shades of sadness and like, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's funny because I feel like maybe just that's how I am. I search that feeling out.
Mm-hmm. And I think you can get hygge in Oregon quite a bit in a coffee shop or in a brewery with good friends at the coast. Do you say coast or beach?
I say coast. I think people here say coast mostly. The Oregon coast. Well, I was going to say too, like, I think it's sort of embedded in the culture here. And I know you know this, but like my relatives, my grandpa was adopted and his biological mother was from Finland and from the Oregon coast. And they brought a lot of Finnish immigrants over here. There was a big boom in Finnish immigration because the Finns knew how to fish the waters here because they're very rough. And so they came over, they opened a bunch of canneries. Like if you go to Astoria, Oregon, there's like a Finnish-American, Chamber of Commerce. And like there's a lot of Finnish like history there. And that's part of my history, like my personal history. And, they fished and they brought in a bunch of like industry. I can't talk for some reason today. I say that every time, but like I feel like
You're doing fine.
I feel like my brain is starting to kick. The coffee's kicking in, and it's like starting to get.
It's like you're trying to catch up.
But yeah, no. So yeah, no, for real. Buffering.
You have the three little dots.
That's how I feel. No, but it's like, so yeah, they opened a bunch of canneries for fishing and things like that on the coast. And like Astoria is where my ancestors are from. And so that feeling was probably pretty prevalent even before they had a name for it. You know, it was like, you go out fishing during the day, you're cold, you're wet, you've got the salt air and the sea in your hair and your eyes, and, you come inside and you're getting a hearty meal like clam chowder or like a beer to just like warm your body, sitting in front of a fire. Like, I can imagine that lifestyle, happening. Yeah. And so it's just very interesting. I think it's existed here for a long time just because of the culture, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are definitely taking part of that. You've always been that way too. Like even in New Mexico, if we would get like a day of cloudiness, you would get in your element and you would put the thickest, most like big knit sweater on, yes. And you'd fill up a giant cup of coffee and you'd curl up into like a comfy chair and you just sit there and you would be contemplative, like thinking, and maybe you'd be a little bit sad, but it wasn't like a bad thing.
There's such a thing as like, you're going to laugh at me, but it's like delicious melancholy. Like.
No, I get that.
And it's not like depression. It's like melancholy can be a very beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did the Enneagram.
Yeah.
And a couple of the tests scored me as a 4. And if you're not familiar with Enneagram, and you think it's bogus, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess in the very right Christian circles right now, there's like this thing going around that like the Enneagram is satanic. I'm like, guys,
Yeah,
good Lord,
I've heard that too, and I
Crazy.
think it's just because the symbol looks a little bit like a pentagram, but whatever.
It's a chart, guys. It's a literal chart. It's not like a anything.
And also, there's folks like who just feel like it's kind of hocus pocus and like horoscopy.
It's a personality typology. It's a personality. It's like you have a.
Well, it's just it's categorizing different personalities because humans are not all the same, and we all have different personalities.
Like, I'm thinking of, like, the chart, like the science chart, like the classification chart.
Are you talking about the periodic table of elements?
Thank you very much. Good Lord.
I taught chemistry. I know.
I
know stuff.
I'm like, the chart with the things on it,
all the stuff.
Science?
All the elements, like mud and water.
Bullshit? I'm just kidding. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's just like a classification system.
Yeah. But I scored, well, I'm a 9, I guess. But I scored really, really high on the 4 scale. So I get the delicious melancholy, and I get the feeling sad, but like how you feel like you need to feel sad, and how you kind of want to be in that sadness for a while. And sometimes you want to be in that sadness too long.
Yeah, you shouldn't you shouldn't live there. It's fun to visit sometimes, but it's fun to visit if you're like making art or.
Is it like a self-loathing thing?
No.
I guess there's different types of people who feel the sadness.
Okay. Yeah. Melancholy, right? You hear a song on the radio and it takes you back to a time when you remember something like that you long for.
Yeah.
Or like that you miss, but you can never get it back.
Right.
But at the same time, that memory is sweet and that music is bringing out that feeling. That's the kind of melancholy I'm talking about.
Has this ever happened to you? I saw a meme of this and it totally made sense. Has this ever happened to you, like when you're listening to a song and you're like maybe a third or halfway through and you feel like I didn't appreciate this enough, so I have to go back to the beginning and listen to it again?
Yes. That happens to me all the time. Sometimes
I've
to a song in like 5 times in a row just so that I can really get the fullness of like what that's about.
Yeah. I used to do that in high school. I would buy a CD, like a brand new CD. And I had this cool Sony boombox that my mom got me for my birthday, which was like one of the best gifts I've ever had received in my life. And I would put on
because it wasn't socks.
Actually, I do love getting socks.
Really?
And, yeah, I do.
This is good to know.
If they're good socks, not like tube socks, but like good athletic ankle socks, send them to me. No, but like. I miss this, and I haven't done this in a long time, but to buy a CD and just listen to the CD from beginning to end, open up the CD book and appreciate the art, read through the lyrics as the song's being sung, and just to feel whatever that artist is like putting across the speakers. Like I used to do that a lot and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I like reading about like where the artist was or where they recorded the album or like what they were like. I like albums that are stories. Mm-hmm. I love that when they do like an album that's like a story. It tells like a concept. Story.
Yeah, there's a band called The Early November did that. Mm-hmm. Like
I love those.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because I remember I felt like that with Arcade Fire's Neon Bible. Mm-hmm. Like it's a great album anyway. But then when you find out they literally rented out a church to record it in because of the acoustics and the sound. And then you hear like they're playing like the, oh my gosh, it's not a piano.
Organ?
Yes, they're playing the organ in the actual church and the acoustics. And like, then you start to, like that whole like artistic wraparound you like learn about. It just makes it so much more rich and like amazing to listen to. So like I felt like that with Neon Bible. That's like one of my favorite albums of all time. And then it's like a whole reflection on where they're at with like faith and religion and American religion. It's a whole big commentary.
It's a thinking one, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I think like when I bought that CD, I was in Panama. Like this is back when you had portable CD players still.
Yeah.
And so
the good old days.
Brought my CD player, and then at the Dallas airport I realized, oh my God, I forgot my CDs. And I was like, shit. And so I ran over to like, I think it was a Sam Goody in the airport at the time.
You know what? I should have, even though it didn't work out for us during that time period, I should have lent you my iPod. I'm thinking about this 12 years later. But
fine.
I should have just lent you my iPod.
It's okay.
Because it had a lot of songs on it.
Well, I thought I had my book of CDs, but I didn't. I forgot them. So anyway, I ran over to Sam Goody, and they had Neon Bible, so I bought it. And they had an album by Shiny Toy Guns, the band, that I bought also. And those were the only 2 CDs I had with me the entire time in Panama, which was like 2 months.
So you got to know those albums pretty good. And
yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, yeah, Stadium Arcadium. Well, no, because my friend Will, who was on the trip with me, was in the village next to mine, and so we just like swapped CDs every now and again because we got really tired of our own CDs.
It's too bad you didn't have any Biggie.
Yeah, right. No, so we just would be like, do you have any new CDs? Do you have any? What do you have? Let me swap you.
See, that's cool though. Like when you're limited in your choice, you're kind of forced to really get to know a record or an album like that. Mm-hmm. Like today, we have libraries of records and albums and songs that we. Unlimited, choices. And if you don't like a song, the first song of an album, like, forget it. Like, why would I waste my time?
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, think about it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. No, with Arcade Fire, like, with Neon Bible, like, that was all I had. And I listened to that CD, and there was times where I was like, I don't know if I even like this. But then the more I started listening to it, and the more I started thinking about what they were saying, and then just, like, contemplating all of it together, I was like, man, this is, like, amazing. Like, this is a work of art. It's really cool. And actually, when I was in Mexico one time, again, like, by myself, in Mexico, I was working on this ranch for a summer. It was like an orphanage. It was like a children's ranch where kids that didn't have parents present, because in Mexico, you don't have to sign off your rights as a parent if you leave your child. You can just be like, peace out. I'll come get you when you're old enough to work. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. So this ranch would house children, and so I was teaching English. They had a schoolhouse on the property, and it was kind of a weird time for me. But it was good. I grew a lot. Anyway, I only had Blink-182. What's that album with, like, I Miss You on it? It was like a kind of a break from their other stuff.
I don't know.
We could be like Jack and Sally if we want. It's going to bother me now. I'm going to find it. I had that album, and that was like one of the only ones I had. And so I really appreciate that album too.
That's kind of funny. I didn't listen to Blink-182 because
Blink-182 back in the day.
In my group of friends and my circle.
Oh, they were posers.
Yeah, they were like the poser band.
Get over yourself, JD.
No, different group of friends.
Oh, sorry. I guess it was just self-titled. Weird.
Yeah.
I guess, but I don't know. 2003, Blink-182. It's just a self-titled album.
The one with the little
happy face with the X's.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good album. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, good times.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so there it is.
So now we're going to continue the podcast. I'm going to read the entire book of Lamentations from the Bible.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just moving on.
No, I was just reading. I'm like, Boxcar Racer. I forgot about that band. See, now I'm all excited.
You're going to go back to your punk. Okie dokie.
Oh my gosh. I wish I was high right now, because that'd be like triple funny.
I wish I was high right now. Hey, we're in Oregon.
I know. I can be high whenever I want.
Yeah, you can get some crank in your system.
Probably why I'm not, because it could be like a big problem.
There's lots of mushrooms out here.
Dude, there's so many pot shops around here. I'm like, good God, you guys. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I get it. Weed is great, but like, here's the thing.
I disagree. I don't think weed is great.
I think you just haven't ever had a good experience.
Yeah. It's not great. So
edibles for me. Not a smoker. But I mean, yeah, if we're going that direction, like a good edible on the 4th of July in Denver might be the solution to a lot of things.
I don't know if I want to go in that direction.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I think our next podcast, we might have to dive deeper into this.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know some things about you.
We'll give you a live review. No, not going to happen.
Be like hours.
Not going to happen. All right.
What are you listening to, Lorenzo?
Yeah. What am I listening to? Well, I this week haven't really listened. Well, I have listened actually to a few podcasts. One of my favorite podcasts, and I think I've mentioned this. I don't think I really branch out with new podcasts that much, but this week I did. But I'll tell you about my old podcast first, and I'll tell you about my new podcast. Okay. The old podcast, the podcast that I go, it's my go-to chores podcast. I don't know if you have like a chores podcast.
Yeah. Well, they rotate, but yeah.
Yeah, I have a chores podcast, a podcast that I listen to. Again, AirPods Pro, favorite purchase of all time.
Quit dropping. I don't know. Okay.
By the way, there's AirPods
Buffering.
AirPods Max that just came out. They're like $600.
Okay, what are you listening to?
Okay, all right. AirPods Pro. I'll throw in my chores podcast, and that rotates. But usually it's Reply All, which is a Gimlet podcast, another podcast network that makes a lot of good podcasts. Gimlet and then Wonderly both are my faves.
I don't like that word either.
Gimlet?
It's like giblet. Yeah. And then it's like that one you just
Giblet.
About Santa Fe.
Gorgie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giblet,
I guess
Gorgie.
G words, yeah.
Giblet,
but
Gorgie.
Reply All.
I hate it.
Alex Goldman and I can't remember the other host's name. But I think they might be an acquired taste because they ridiculously laugh like the podcast. It might take a little bit for you to get over the laugh. Like for me, I like their laughs. I think their laughs add to it, like just how ridiculous they laugh. But they do some real deep dive reporting, and they're funny, and their chemistry is really great, and they're really
chemistry is really great.
Hey, periodic table of elements. My favorite
science.
element is mud. I don't know why I said that. No, their chemistry is great. They're really honest about how they not really honest, but they're honest enough about how they're handling their feelings and what they're going through. And I think they're both parents, maybe.
They probably left their kids at a brewery and haven't seen them since.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just a really great podcast. In this most recent episode, they one of the hosts wrote a song because he's a very doom and gloom kind of guy, and
Delicious melancholy,
and he's very maybe overly concerned about climate change and how the planet's basically past the point of no return, like spiraling into like we're destroying the planet to the point where it's not going to be habitable anymore. And he wrote a punk song about it. And the podcast.
Well, at least he's not making a shit movie starring Bruce Willis about it.
Yeah, that was horrible.
I don't. I lost
we can
so
talk
much.
about that if you want in our what we're listening to. But no, it's a really great podcast. It was a good wrap to the year 2020. They did a great job. I enjoyed basically every episode I listened to. Reply All on Gimlet, and then they plugged another Gimlet podcast in this podcast, which was called "How to Save a Planet." I think. I'll link it in the show notes, but it's how to save a planet, and it's talking about it. They basically talk topics on climate change and things that we could do. And the episode I listened to was about how buildings basically are leaking heat, especially in like bigger cities where they don't have control of like the thermostat or heaters. People in New York City will, I guess, like the whole building will have their radiator heats, which has like a gas boiler or whatever sort of inefficient like heating element that was built like 100 years ago in the basement of some huge building that heats the entire building. And then in the winter, I guess some rooms, some apartment units get too hot, so people will open the windows. So it's super inefficient, and it's just it's right down my alley. They're talking the economics of how do we make buildings green and how do we make this profitable. So it's like business and economics and climate change. I don't know. It's really cool. So yeah, there you have it. And then as far as music is concerned, I have really been into like new sort of like funky music, less like rock and like pop punk and like screamo and like what I typically have gone to and gravitated to, like emo and stuff, and gone more towards like funky stuff, I guess. So here's one that I've been listening to. It's called, the name of the song is Still Woozy. No. Still Woozy is the band, and the song is called Goodie Bag.
Oh, I think about you. Oh, I think about you. Prepare to leave my body when the time comes through. Loving on you till the time comes through. Why you always hate to break bread? Think about the way that you would feel if never said. Jokes on you.
So, good stuff. I also recently liked a song from the band is called FJK, called French Kiwi Juice.
Sounds sexy.
Yeah. And this is that song. So I don't know, the algorithm has taken me down in different places that, I keep saying the algorithm, but places that I haven't been before, but I kind of like it. So
I kind of like your hair right now.
oh, thanks.
That's good. Sorry.
We have to pause for a second. I'm just kidding. So so taking my musical tastes into different areas, and I think we have a parenting pause.
Yeah.
A kid is knocking on the door.
I think we have a parenting pause. This is only the second one. I'm actually
Hey, that's-
impressed.
Yeah, you've been doing good. So
Just a second.
I think we'll cue up some music for you as we parenting pause, and we will be right back. Okay, we're back.
We're back. Yeah. That was slightly less painful than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been listening to the band Jungle a lot. They're kind of like not my typical go-to, but lately they have been. So I'll throw on some music.
Let me do it.
Yeah. So there's like 2 songs that have been heavy on my rotation lately. But yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay.
You gotta let it go for a minute till it drops.
Give me a reason to love you every night, 'cause I've seen life without you lately, and it hurts me. I've seen the visions of the bad times in my head, but I won't let them take control of me. Every single night I giving you a reason to trust me every day.
So that sounds good.
Yeah, it's kind of that ethereal feel. I feel like I sort of listen to that. I don't know. It's something with the rain, and then I love when people like mix in like these like 70s sort of sounding like beats. I don't know.
Yeah.
So throw on the other one because it's good.
I've been into that too. So
No, I love it. There's a thing, and then I have another band I want to shout out after this.
So I like his vocals.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. All of their songs are really good. It's good just like
Yeah.
sort of thinking.
It's a good groove, like falsetto vocal. I like it, and the beat's good too. So
Yeah, it's kind of sunny sounding for like rainy weather. It's like a juxtaposition.
sorry.
Oh, yes, well. And then this other band that I've been listening to is old, but I feel like it's just that Riot Girl vibe that Portland puts out.
The Eyeliners. Remember the Eyeliners?
Kind of.
They were in Albuquerque. Like,
But I remember
Yeah.
seeing them on venues. So this band is called Peaches, and this is just hardcore, like, Riot Girl, like, stuff. So this is kind of what that's about. It's cute.
Thank you. Thank you again. I burn a hole through your stare. It's like you're not really there. I scream and pull my own hair. I turn into Linda Blair. I saw your nose, I hit it. You look and you just lick it. I smile and I say quit it. You think you're sexy with it. You love it, you love it, you love it when I'm bad. You love it, you love it, you love it when I'm bad. You love it, you love it, you love it.
yeah, I mean, I don't think I've heard this song before, but I love the punchy guitar and like the really tight drums. Like the drums are like you know.
It's a classic, like, punk rock styled, like, just classic riff song. Like, you can't get better than that.
So it's like a song. It seems like you can release emotion with.
Yeah.
That's been held in. Like you could just scream it. You know.
Yeah, I
don't
actually
know.
sent it to a friend of mine who's in a band in Albuquerque. What up, Gio? And I was like,
Shout out,
"Cover-"
Gio.
Yeah, I was like, cover this, please. Because she's in a band called Bad Babies in Albuquerque. And I was like, this is a song you should cover.
There you go. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about the movie we watched.
We should, but hang on. Before we do that, I wanted to shout out, we have a new local follower on Instagram. I love them, by the way. So there's this divey-ass dive bar in Portland. It's called the Yam Hill Pub. It is like the Sex Pistols of bars. Gritty, gross bathrooms, divey AF. I don't know how to explain it. They're hilarious, though. They're so funny.
Can they be the Dead Kennedys of bars?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, for sure. So I love that they just say #1 dive bar in Portland, and we are not PC. Like, that's their whole thing.
All right, cool.
So Yam Hill Pub, what up? Portland people, I think you should support them. They're local. They're a staple. They've been around forever. Follow them on Instagram. It's yamhillpub.official. Not a sponsor, but still go check them out. They're just trying to get by, I think, like everybody else, you know? And I want to go check them out soon when I
Yeah.
can get away from my kids, and I will not bring them there. You're welcome, Yam Hill Pub. But I mean, when I look at their beer lineup and I'm like, okay, they've got PBR on tap, like, it's going to be a good day, you know?
I don't have any respect for myself.
I
So-
hate myself.
PBR it is.
Yeah, so I'm
All right.
down. Like, so when your parents come, maybe we can do a quick
Maybe we can bring them there with the whole family.
Merry Christmas.
So,
No, I'd just like to go support them, you know?
all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still, as far as what we're listening to and also watching.
Here's what you shouldn't watch.
The Great, we've been still watching it, and I think that's like a Monday through Friday, like we just got the kids to bed.
We're tired. We can't commit to a whole movie, but
Right. I mean, it's interesting enough. But, yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Uh-huh.
That show got me to look up, like, Catherine the Great and actually do some reading.
Is that who the character is loosely based off of?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I actually read a little bit about her life. It was super interesting. So,
Neat.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's been a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
And on the weekend, I thought, hey, you know what?
I was like, hey.
I've got some Apple credit in the Apple Store. What the heck? Let's rent a movie. And so I went to the...
Oh, hell, it's our anniversary. Get her Dr. Pepper.
I mean, that's not me, but... also, shout out Waiting, one of my favorite movies. I was in the Apple store and I saw, the featured movies or whatever, and I saw this cover for this movie is it's got Bruce Willis and it's kind of sci-fi. I read the first couple of lines of the premise, and I thought, Bruce Willis, cool, sci-fi, cool. He's been in a couple of really good sci-fis, so let's check it out. The movie was called like
I don't even know, but it was terrible.
Boarding or Stowaway, or what was it called?
Let me Google terrible Bruce Willis movie, and then it'll probably come up.
Yeah. So I paid $7 to rent this movie. Actually,
You paid too much.
yeah. And it was super duper low budget, more low budget than I thought a Bruce Willis movie would ever be in.
Breach.
Breach, yeah. So it was not Fifth Element, to say the least. And we got through it. Lindsay got through it. I fell asleep in the last 10 minutes.
I am disappointed in you, Bruce Willis. I'm so disappointed.
Brucey.
Bruce. I feel like, okay. You make The Fifth Element. Mm-hmm. You make friggin' Die Hard, okay?
Those movies were 30 and 40 years ago, respectively, though.
Hold on. You literally made an album called, Respect Yourself back in the 80s. A music album called Respect Yourself. Little known fact. Look it up.
It was just as bad as this movie.
No, it was probably better.
Yeah.
You do not respect yourself anymore, Bruce, and I'm sad.
Can I say that the movie started to catch me a little bit towards the middle? I'm not going to spoil anything.
You should.
But,
save everybody's time.
Okay, spoiler alert. Not too much of a spoiler, though.
No.
Because if you're worried about spoilers, you're probably not going to watch the movie anyway. But they're evacuating Earth because Earth had been destroyed by human activity, and they have this ship that is going super duper fast, approaching the speed of light, and they're going a long distance to New Earth, which is another planet that's habitable, and everybody is basically put into a artificial sleep state to go to this new planet. And as they're traveling, there's a crew of people who are not sleeping, so that they can do things like clean the ship and make sure that nothing goes wrong. Lo and behold, there's this parasite, this alien parasite that when it gets into your system turns you into a space zombie. So, now that I think about it more, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a neat idea. I think maybe what kind of turned us off a little bit was maybe just the low budgety feelness of it. So, anyways.
But I mean, I feel like it was just the acting was way bad. There were some actors in there where you're like, bro, this is not Shakespeare, okay? Calm down.
Yeah.
For real. You're taking it a little over the top, not in a good way.
Yeah.
Not even in a really bad, B movie,
Maybe this movie could be appreciated for its badness, though. This might be one of those cult classics. I don't know if it's cult classic has written on it yet. Maybe. But the idea was sort of neat. A guy exploded, which was cool.
A guy exploded.
And maybe when you don't have a budget, you can
maybe you
can kind of be what's the sort of thing when you make fun of yourself before other people do it. Some people
humor. I have no idea.
Yeah, maybe the movie even did that a little bit. I don't know. I mean, now that I'm talking about it, it could be appreciated.
Maybe he was just really bored. Maybe their whole budget went to just paying for Bruce Willis to be in the movie.
And Bruce Willis might have even said hey, I've made all the movies in my career I want to make. I'm not in this for an Oscar.
Or maybe nobody should make this movie. I guess I'll do it.
maybe he even did it kind of pro bono. I don't know.
I feel like you should just be drinking a hell of a lot if you're going to watch that movie. It might make it better. I don't know. Get super high.
Watch it. Check it out. I mean, I'm not going to advocate for you to do that kind of stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm more straight-laced than Lindsay. Maybe not. Anyways. And lastly, last night we started an Amazon movie, which was called... it was about this guy. We're so bad at this.
It was a guy who made these robot replicas of his wife, or
Yeah.
like he was trying to make like version number 1, version number 2.
Because his wife died, and he's a, I guess, roboticist. Is that the thing?
Robotic engineer.
So he was like, he's making these versions, and each version gets better to get to where it gets to his wife. And it so far is really good. We're old, and we cut movies off halfway.
Lorenzo, you're old. I was awake.
Yeah.
I mean, I was awake.
It was already 10:30. Like, you expect me to stay up after 11? Like,
Well, in your 20s, you used to come home and like roll in at like 4 in the morning. So,
yeah, well,
with like a McDonald's sign, like,
those,
I don't know where this came from. I'm like,
those years are long gone. All right, so maybe we'll give an update on that movie later on. So I think that's it. Unless you wanted to add anything else.
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, I support local is the thing. Christmas is coming. You guys know this.
Yeah.
You know, buy local for Christmas if you haven't already.
Go to the farmer's market.
Yeah, Lorenzo checked out the Portland Farmer's Market.
Yeah, it was at PSU. It was really great.
He bought me this really cool cactus, like, terrarium thing. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I saw that, and I was really, really loving it. And I made a joke. Oh gosh. I went to the succulent place. This lady, she makes all these pots. She pots these beautiful succulents and cactuses, cacti, and makes them presentable, and they are fantastic. Check her booth out at the PSU Farmers Market if you're in Portland. But I'm such a dad. I went there. And
what's the cheapest terrarium you have? Is this cost efficient?
No, I didn't do that.
That's good.
No, because when it comes to cactus and succulents, my inhibitions go out the window because and this is what I was going to say. When I went there, I made this joke, and it was so stupid. I'm like, I'm a sucker for succulents. That's what I told her, and she didn't think it was very amusing. So we had some conversation, and then just because I thought maybe she didn't hear, I said it again. So and she still wasn't amused.
That's like the most dad thing you did this week.
Yeah.
You're like, did you check out my New Balance shoes? They're great.
They're the 432s. Don't know if you've ever seen these. These puppies have good.
These babies have some great traction.
Good cushion, good traction. Built like a beast.
I feel like we need to add a new segment, which is like, what's the most parent thing you've done this week? I think that'd be a good one.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we're done.
If Succulent Lady, if you're listening and you see me out with him, I don't know him.
She doesn't listen.
You don't know that.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a sucker for succulents. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah. Okie doke. I think that's it. And hope you have a great week.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Feliz Navidad.
Festivus, Hanukkah, everything else.
All those holidays, Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
I see you.
You pagans out there, whatever you celebrate.
Or don't.
Maybe, whatever, I'm not going to. All right, that's it. Have a good one.
Parenting vs. Podcast is a proud member of the Bareilles Podcasters Guild.